Of our Effectz range products. Now, if you are new to Effectz, make sure you go back, have a look at our past videos where we've covered the entire of this brand new Effectz range with all these amazing products. We've covered the foil sheets, the metallic flakes, the 3D adhesive, and more. So make sure you just go back and have a look at the past videos that we've done. So what are we going to be looking at today? Well, again, I am looking at our Luster Wax range. Okay, so what can I tell you about Luster Wax? Well, we've got these three fantastic metallic colours. We've got the silver, we've got the gold, and we've got the rose gold. Now, we've chosen these carefully to go with our whole kind of colour range of cardstock. So when you're using the Luster Wax with the rest of our Sizzix products, it's always going to look fantastic. Now, I'm also getting to use a very special embossing folder today. Now, this is from Chapter 2. This is the Butterfly Meadow embossing folder. Now, what's special about it? Well, you could probably see this lovely die-cut butterfly that is inlaid within the wildflower emboss that comes with this folder. Just have a look at this. If I hold it up, you should be able to see that fantastic effect there. But then we've also got this butterfly that's going to be cut out of the middle of the piece of card that you are embossing. So how cool is that? You get to either use the aperture, so you can have something coming through that space that's shaped like a butterfly, or you can actually use the die-cut piece that you've cut out using the embossing folder, or you could use both. So let's get started. I'm going to angle you down so that you can see what I'm doing on the table here. Now, I'm going to start by cutting the Mermaid Kiss cardstock here. Now, I've chosen Mermaid Kiss because it goes particularly well with our Luster Wax. It's a very punchy, vibrant colour. It's dark enough so that the Luster Wax is going to really show up on the surface. So, first of all, I'm going to give it a spray with water. Now, the reason I spray this with water, as some of you will know, that this is going to provide more flexibility within the fibres of the paper. So that's going to mean that when we cut, so if I just show you again, all those lovely shapes and patterns that are going to be embossed into your card, it's going to reduce the risk of them tearing through because they're very pronounced and it really looks cool when you use the embossing folder on it, but obviously not if the bits tear through. Now, you're also going to get a better emboss when the fibres in the cardstock are a bit more kind of loose and flexible. So let's fold this over here. Now, I cut the cardstock down previously so that it would fit perfectly in my embossing folder. Now, how are we going to sandwich up the machine when we're using a 2D embossing folder? Well, the instructions are on the pad, so you're always going to be able to read the instructions to find out how we're doing it, but this one in particular is here, which says that we're going to have the top leaf off the multi-purpose platform, and then we're going to sandwich it in between the two cutting plates. So let's do that now. I'm going to make sure that my butterfly is centered. Now, with it being an embossing folder and the fact that I've sprayed it to loosen the fibres in the cardstock, I'm going to be able to bring it through the machine a few times because I really want that impression in the cardstock. So there we are. Now, this is one of my favourite parts of doing videos like this, is that big reveal from embossing folders. Now, just have a look at that. Look at those patterns, and now the way that the light plays over this piece of card that's got those fantastic embossed pieces. Again, it's that type of thing that before I started crafting and before I knew about these fantastic products, I would walk into a shop and I'd think, how do they do that? And now I know, and we can do it at home. So I'm going to get rid of my big shot just for now. And I'm going to bring on just a sheet of any scrap paper. Now, this is going to be to use the Luster Wax on. Now, every time I open it, I have to give it a smell because it smells amazing. It's infused with orange oil and it just smells so nice. I'm going to use this piece of paper to make sure. So have a look on my finger now. I'm applying it with my finger. There are a few different ways that you can apply it. But my finger gives me the most control. So it's too kind of blobby on the end of my finger there. So what I'm going to do is going to make sure that there's no big blobs, because that can ruin a make very, very quickly. Now that's it. So the way we apply luster wax, make sure that there's not a big blob hiding on the very end of your finger. So just get it all off and all kind of smooth. Now, the way we use luster wax, I always say this in every video, so I apologise if you've seen one of my luster wax lives before, but we always compare it to salt in a meal. So you can always add more, but once you add too much, you can't take it away. And it's the same thing with luster wax. So we always just apply a very thin layer and then just keep building on top of that. Now I'm not going back into the pot because I've still got loads, or more than enough, in just this kind of smear that I created earlier. There we are. So I'm picking up just all those embossed bits. And then when you do this, it actually starts to look less like card and more like a kind of painted surface, maybe shabby chic, where some of the gold is coming through. Now, that is subtle, but if I angle this right, you should be able to see all that fantastic luster wax just glistening through, and what an amazing touch that is to any make. Now, all that would be left for me to do with this is put it on a card front. So that is what I'm going to do. Now, I have taken some of the gold opulent, so it's the matte gold from the gold opulent card pack, and I've stuck that behind this cut out butterfly element there. So we're looking through the aperture here. This isn't a die cut piece on top, and if I move that round, you'll be able to see that dimension and the shadow that's created when you use an aperture like this, and that's what's so great about this embossing folder. So all that is left for me to do is just to take my card base, add some express glue. It's always ready to go. And I'll make sure the lid's on there. This has been an eye-opener for me, using the express glue. Just making sure that you put that lid back on after every use just stops it from ever drying up, and then you can just, it's always to hand, you can just use it really quickly. It's just readily available then. So we've got it. Now this card here, you'll notice, it's not white, it's just off-white, and this is also from our opulent card pack. Now this is from the Ivory Opulence, and it's called Soft Touch. This is my favourite cardstock to use. It's so lovely and smooth. It folds really well, and it's just perfect. So the card is not quite finished, is it? Because I want a sentiment on there. I've gone with a butterfly themed sentiment. So I've got a strip over here. These are just printed sentiments here. So I've gone with beautiful like a butterfly. I've got my little beautiful sentiment here that I'm going to layer on top. Next, so just at each end here, I want to put a little blob of our express glue. The express glue is a lifesaver. It just dries at the perfect speed. That just gives you perfect amount of time to still have it be workable, but it's also not going to leave you trying to stick it down for ages. Now I have included a bit of foam tape on the back of the beautiful sentiment there, because I want just that extra layer of dimension. So I'm going to peel off the protective layer, and then I'm going to add this just at an angle, still coming in from this side. And how about that? Beautiful like a butterfly. And look at the way that the gold luster wax it just goes so well with all of these other colours that I've included over here. So we've got the lavender dust, just a small element of that, and then we've got the ballet slipper over there, and it just goes so well. And it enhances the project, and all I've had to do is just emboss it and just apply it lightly with my finger. Now, I have also created the same card using some different effects there. So this is our agave cardstock. Now the gold goes really well with the agave, and I've also gone with the shiny mirror card from the gold opulence there. It's just for a totally different effect, but it's the same process. Now how cool are they? Now I will leave these here while I just create my last thing that I wanted to show you, because I wanted to do some really lovely bright kind of poppy cards like these. Now I'm going to go a little bit more grungy with this because I wanted to show you just how well the luster wax works on black cardstock here. So now this is not Sizzix cardstock, it's a bit of a higher GSM, but I've just gone with this one because it's the sturdiness of it that I'm wanting at the moment. So I will still give it a spray. I'm not going to wait too long with this because we want to get on with the make. If you're making it at home, don't be impatient like me, because this is just to show you exactly how well the luster wax works on black cardstock, and you're going to be amazed. Also, showing you this way, I get to use all of the 3 colours of luster wax, which all look fantastic on a black surface. So there we go again. We've got that lovely embossed surface on the black. It's going to be harder to make out, but I'm going to bring it all out with our luster wax. Now I'm going to go straight in with the gold. This is a fantastic opportunity for me to blend all 3 colours of luster wax. Oh, that smell is so lovely. It's just a joy to use it. The whole experience is really fantastic. So there we are. I'm coming in with some gold. Don't worry, I will show it to the camera just so everyone can see exactly what's going on. There we are. And as you can see, I'm just adding small amounts. I don't want a big blob because you can't get rid of the blob once you've done it. Now, so there's my layer of gold on that black cardstock. Now I'm going to come in with a bit of silver. Now I will use a different finger now so that I'm not mixing them. But the silver is going to change the gold even more. So these colours are going to blend together so well no matter what. I'm coming in just up there. The silver almost adds highlights to the gold. And then as if that's not enough, now so I've come in with some silver, I've left just gold in some places, and as if that's not enough, I'm just going to add a little bit of the rose gold just to kind of low light some of the areas here and create an entirely different effect in itself. Just to some small key areas. And have a look at that. Now, it's very subtle. I hope you can see it. But to me, I can see that rose gold just adding a really nice kind of warm effect there. I'll come in with some on the top so you can see what it looks like on its own. And look at the way it's picking up all of those lovely embossed areas there. Now, when you finish something like this, you end up with something like this. How cool is that? And it looks genuinely metallic. Now, the luster wax is going to dry pretty much instantly. You can handle whatever you've applied the luster wax to really quickly, but for it to fully set, you just need to leave it a few hours. and then you can touch it without getting any on your hands whatsoever. Now, I've not brought any with me, but to get this off your hands, you just need a wet wipe, and you can just go like that and it'll just come straight off. But that is it from me. So I hope you are as excited as I am to be working with the new Effectz range. I'll just angle you back up here and take a look at the 3 different styles that I've created just using luster wax and an embossing folder here. So there we are, that's it on black. When you spend the time and just add layer after layer and just keep it going, and don't add too much at one go. Don't get impatient like I have in the past. I had to learn the hard way. And then we've got gold on agave, still keeping that lovely fresh poppy spring feel. And then we've got the gold on the mermaid kiss. And there we are. So I really love to see people's makes. So either in the comments of this video, add a picture of the make that you've created using the luster wax and maybe any of our embossing folders, but especially this butterfly Meadow embossing folder, because I really can't wait to see the cards that people come up with. Just on that note, here's that lovely little die cut piece. That's just a byproduct of this die, but it's really lovely to use on its own. I can think of 100 ways to use that. So yeah, add in your makes in the comments section down below. And that's it from me. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.